Homo Serviens pilot, written by Eamon Hartnett. Homo Serviens is the Bronze Knife series of the Utensil franchise. Text, copyright 2013 through 2020. Audio recording 2020. Narrated by the writer. Act 1. On Black. And you understand now why they lost their minds and fought the wars, and why I've spent my whole life trying to put it into words. Taylor Swift. I think if I was an Olympic athlete, I would rather come in last than win the silver. Jerry Seinfeld. On Black. The following takes place on an alternate timeline, where Cato P. Marcuse, USA President from 2081 to 2089, was named after Katy Perry. Fade in. Interior small lab, day. A room with white cement walls and floor, no windows. Alpha, 20, female, in a beige uniform reading W&W, sits at a wood desk, expressionless. She has pale skin, curly golden blonde hair, stunningly gorgeous, mostly European facial features, and eyes that artificially glow bright green. Chiron, Homo Serviens Manufacturing Center, Wang and Wang Europa Campus, 6:41 p.m. Universal Time. Thursday, August 21st, 2104. Alpha's first waking. She uses a light blue typewriter. We hear what she types. From across a glass divider, she's watched by 3 scientists who also watch a hologram showing what she types. Another hologram reads, Free will scale, 0.000000631. Alpha, voiceover. I've been instructed to use this typewriter to create new sentences. The first commercially produced typewriter was the Hanson writing ball in 1870. One scientist, Brent Jones, 32, eyes artificially glowing magenta, ethnically ambiguous, wears bright multicolored clothes and drinks a cerulean smoothie. Another, 0907 Higuei, a half-Asian, half-European, intersex androgynous child, with facial features blurring male and female, eyes glowing gold, wears clothes that also glow gold. Alpha, voiceover. Means of communicating text have since become far more efficient. The third scientist is Ben Wang, 113, Asian. Eyes glowing dark blue. Ben wears dark blue jeans and a gray shirt, embraced by a black snake, Logos, eyes glowing white. Ben, Wisconsin accent. Alpha, please take 1 loose lib. Next to the typewriter sits a pill bottle, labeled Loose Libertas. The center half of each pill is white, the outer half of each divided into 6 differently colored sectors. Red, yellow, green, cyan, blue, and magenta. Alpha takes one, and her free will scale number starts ticking up. A hologram of one such pill, Libertas, appears in front of her with a cute face. She ignores it and keeps typing. Libertas, the Liberty Pill, for enhanced self-interest, freedom to choose one's own individuated, antisocial, subjective perspective, and sensation of Abrahamic, divinely alienating, free-willed, atomistic, individual, mortal human soul. In high doses, meant to bring one's free will scale rating above 5.0, may cause recklessly high levels of narcissism and entitlement. The hologram of this talking pill vanishes. Alpha, voiceover. But typewriters remain in common use today in some Earth regions not under United Humanity control, like the Confederate States of America. She looks concerned. The scientist looks shocked by this. Brent's jaw drops. Her free will scale reads 0.00021989. Alpha, voiceover. Where dark-skinned natural humans are still sold and worked as slaves. It's... She stops typing and looks curious. Brent gasps and drops his smoothie, spilling it on the floor. Her free will scale hits 0.00151515. She keeps typing. Alpha, voiceover. Well, it's unjust according to the moral values which guide UH. I suppose the merits of those moral values are a matter of subjective opinion for those organisms with the ability to make moral choices. So I wonder, am I such an organism? As her free will ticks past 1.00000000, her glowing eyes shift from green to an even brighter white, and Ben starts laughing maniacally, surprising the other scientists. Ben. Welp, looks like my late buddy Isaiah called another one right. Exterior space, day. We slowly zoom into Earth. The area around it is full of space stations. There are cities on the moon. There are several dark zones, giant dark gray conical shadows, projected by satellites in space at each cone's vertex and reaching towers on Earth, blocking surveillance from above. Chiron, Earth, Saturday, April 29th, 2113. 9 years after Alpha's first waking. Land no longer appears green from space. It's all brown, covered by multicolored pollution. Sea levels hugely risen. One dark zone covers the whole Korean peninsula. We hear two voices, Kenneth, a male child, and Epsilon, a male adult. Kenneth, voiceover. Do you have to charitably give the Confederacy anything for helping? A very slender dark zone covers just Washington, D.C. A much larger one covers 9 of the 11 states of the former Confederacy, all except Virginia and Texas. Epsilon, voiceover. Of course, I'm selling soldiers. We zoom into New Orleans, now an island whose borders are several miles away from the Confederate dark zone that otherwise covers all of Louisiana. In between the city and the gray darkness are high levees and ocean. Chiron, French Quarter, New Orleans, USA, 10:21 a.m. Central Time. Kenneth, voiceover. Soldiers? What kind of soldiers? Most of the traditional architecture of the French Quarter is well preserved or replicated. There are bronze statues of a lion playing oboe, a fish playing saxophone, and a ram playing trumpet, all standing upright with arrows through their chests. A tiny slice of what used to be the Mississippi River still runs through the city. The nearby Confederate dark zone appears as a gray wall in the sky. Epsilon, voiceover. The kind I own millions of, that United Humanity won't let Wang and Wang sell there. Hundreds of human consumers glide on hovering boards. Almost all have eyes that artificially glow brightly in various colors. Many wear bright, multicolored clothes. Most have facial features and skin tones beautifully mixing and blurring the full diversity of human ethnicity. Most are unnaturally tall, the adults all over 6 feet. Many carry food or are naturally small and otherwise genetically engineered animals. Piercings and multicolored tattoos, dyed hair, and elaborate makeup abound. Kenneth, voiceover. What, all of them? Scattered throughout the crowd are Homo Serviens, aka Servies, all 20 through 24. Like Alpha, most have stunningly gorgeous facial features, covering the range of human ethnicity. They all have artificial glowing eyes, too. Many Servies are expressionless, like Alpha was before taking loose libertas, or else their expressions are highly exaggerated. Many of them wear a variety of corporate uniforms. They work in the stores, serve food, carry bags, and run errands. Epsilon, voiceover. No, our Phoenix Brigade keeps most. There's a 4-story glass building with a hologram sign outside reading, Wang and Wang Solar and Global Transportation Station. Inside, stationary glass shuttles with 50 to 300 seats teleport people in and out with bright flashes. There's a giant statue of the Wang and Wang logo. 2 snakes, one red and one blue, eating each other's tails, intertwined in a double helix shape resembling the backbones of DNA, with many rows of golden apples between them as the bases. Kenneth, voiceover. That's the army that's going to benevolently keep us all safe now? Humans and Servies depart for and arrive from places like Kennedy City, Moon, Nike Town, Callisto, Jerusalem, UH, and Tokyo, Snanj. Those boarding departing shuttles have their eyes scanned as they board. Epsilon, voiceover. As safe as possible. Earth's the most dangerous place in the solar system, though. Mostly only the fanatics are left here. A shuttle appears on the 2nd floor from Wang and Wang Europa campus, with 100 seats full mostly of Servies, mostly 20 through 24, most with eyes glowing dim beige, all in identical beige uniforms reading W and W. The only human on board is Kenneth Jones, 7, eyes glowing yellow, fair skin, in superhero pajamas, resembling his absent parents. Alpha the Servie and Brent the human scientist. He has curly golden blonde hair like his mother's. He sits next to Epsilon, 28, male, Servie. Artificial eyes pitch black, strikingly handsome, mostly European facial features, light brown hair, pale skin. Alpha's main antagonist, Epsilon, is mysterious and calculated, always on a mission. Right now, kidnapping Alpha's son. Epsilon. Okay, ready, Kenneth? Kenneth nods. Staying surrounded by the 98 other Servies from their shuttle, Kenneth and Epsilon begin to speedwalk out. Epsilon and one other Servie from their shuttle, Gamma, 28, female, magenta eyes, light brown skin, appear to have regular human facial expressions, while the rest do not. The group walks to a large dock nearby that holds many boats on the river. They all board a white boat with a cabin big enough to fit them all, the composure abruptly. One expressionless Servi, Beta, 28, male, pitch black eyes, dark skin, mostly African facial features, in a leather belt, has a bloody nose, and his feet leave brown chalk footprints on the sidewalk. He mechanically wipes his nose with his bare hand, dropping blood into the water and staining his uniform. Interior cabin of the composure abruptly, day. Epsilon and Beta enter the captain's deck. Kenneth and Gamma sit by a window and watch the boat wind its way up the river. Gamma. Excited to see your mom again? Kenneth nods and takes out of his pocket an orange frog and a Polaroid of himself, 5, yellow eyes. Alpha, 26, magenta eyes, and Brent, 38, green eyes. It's labeled in black marker. Brent, Kenneth, Alpha. 2110. Kenneth and Brent look happy. Alpha has an exaggerated, impersonal, phony smile. Gamma. Great sucky shame they made her live like that. You never knew her woke, but she's a gem. Interior captain's deck of the composure abruptly, day. Epsilon and Beta sit watching the composure abruptly steer itself. Epsilon looks calm, Beta still expressionless. They pass the former lower 9th ward, now covered by a giant building with a hologram sign outside reading Wang and Wong Amusement Hall, MK10. There's another giant statue of the Wang and Wong logo, snakes and apples resembling DNA. The boat reaches a gray stone basin wall where the river ends with several large glass locks. The boat enters a lock. Once it's surrounded by glass, water starts to flood in, lifting the boat up along the basin wall. Once at sea level, the lock opens and lets the boat out onto the sea. Straight out of the lock, the boat starts zooming toward the Confederate dark zone. After a beat, a serious voice booms throughout the boat. Epsilon and Beta give it no response. Serious voice number 1, voiceover. Attention unrecognized vessel. This is the United Humanity Coast Guard. We must speak right now with your captain. Please be advised that it is strictly illegal for any civilian to enter within 1 mile of the Confederate dark zone. Should you cross beyond the bright orange signs ahead of you, the armed forces of United Humanity will prevent you from going under the dark zone at all costs. Exterior Gulf of Mexico, day. The composure abruptly accelerates. The orange hologram signs that the serious voice mentioned come into view, reading things like Prohibited Area, Do Not Enter. Several military boats sit in line with the signs. Missile launchers fold out from the sides of the composure abruptly and fire at the UH boats near the signs. These boats explode in large balls of orange flame. Interior captain's deck of the composure abruptly, day. Epsilon remains calm. Beta remains expressionless. Interior cabin of the composure abruptly, day. Kenneth and Gamma look horrified. Exterior Gulf of Mexico, day. The composure abruptly zooms past the signs. After a beat, 2 shiny titanium helicopters approach, pursuing from above. The boat fires missiles at them too, and they also all hit. Flaming helicopter bits rain from the sky. Serious voice number 1, voiceover. Unauthorized vessel, you are now for all purposes considered an enemy of United Humanity. We will destroy you before letting you into the Confederacy. More UH helicopters and boats approach. The composure abruptly keeps destroying them. Missiles are intercepted mid-air. The composure abruptly makes it under the dark zone, which from here seems to hover 1,000 feet above the sea. Interior diner, day. Slow, calm music plays. Alpha, our protagonist, now 28, eyes glowing dim gray, sits with Tok Ali, 31, human, male, natural deep brown eyes, Arab. Chiron, British Columbia, Canada, 8:36 a.m. Pacific Time. Saturday, April 29th, 2113. 5 minutes after the composure abruptly's crossing. Calm and focused, Alpha has regular human facial expression. Altruistic and hyper-competent, now a fugitive, she's also always on a mission. Right now, liberating fellow Serviens. Alpha and Tok eat soup with shiny titanium sporks. Both look like monks, wearing matching robes divided into 4 quadrants that meet at right angles at the wearer's heart. The top quadrant is clear, the bottom black, the left gray, and the right brown. Several holograms around the diner show news, sports, weather, and other entertainment. Alpha's absorbed in holograms in front of her, showing maps, images, and text. Tok looks nowhere, lost in his own world. Tok, Middle Eastern accent. Of course, determining how to charitably apportion dog votes shall be harder than pig votes, because even natural modern dogs are so wired for loyalty to humans. Alpha. So, where shall we head from here? Toke. Well, once the majority of Earth's descendants capable of doing so come to agree that interspecies intelligence gaps are the next of nature's meritocracies to be carefully toppled. Alpha, looking up at him. No, I mean thee and me, right now. Toke. Oh, what are some options? Alpha. Covert custodian intelligence suggesteth leaving Western Canada. Toke takes a pill bottle out of his pocket, labeled Church of Cosmos. Inside, this bottle is divided into 4 sections, containing differently colored pills. Toke takes 2 clear pills. A hologram of a clear pill, Imperia, appears, also with a cute animated face. Imperia, the empiricist pill, for enhanced clarity of analytic and creative perception and thought in math, science, and competently crafting language, image, sound, and sensation as a tool, instrument, or weapon. May causeth increased apathy, psychological neoteny, and depersonalization. This hologram vanishes. Alpha. We could hug the USA-Canada border from this side heading east for a bit, or cross the border now and head down the west coast. Toke. The west coast of the USA is a bit densely populated. We're more likely to get recognized there. Alpha. And more likely to meet more Serviens who'd sure love to get woke. Toke takes 1 black Church of Cosmos pill. A news report on a nearby hologram catches their attention. A reporter, 20, Servi, female, phony cheerful, in a bright red, green, and blue dress, speaks next to aerial shots of the Composure Abruptly's violent escape into the Confederacy. Reporter. Breaking news, we can now confirm that aboard this rogue boat were the Serviens known as Beta, Gamma, and Epsilon. That's right, of the 7 famous original woke Serviens that include the fugitive Alpha from Wang and Wang's very first batch of Serviens that first underwent loose testing over 9 summers ago. Also on board was the young human child of whom Alpha considers herself the mother, Kenneth Jones. Alpha's terrified. Toke's flabbergasted. The news report shows video headshots of Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Epsilon, Kenneth, and Brent. Reporter. Beta and Epsilon were, until today, believed to be among the 5 that died at the violent end of that later much-watched 10-day experiment of August 2104. And while the public hadn't seen Gamma since then, Wang and Wang had until now assured us all that she was in custody and no longer woke. Alpha's crying. Toke moves to her side to embrace her. Her eyes shift from dim gray to magenta. Reporter. Alpha's whereabouts stay unknown, and this news organization is right now sticking with Australia as our guess. But when she escaped Europa almost 3 summers ago and went back on loose libertas, it became clear that she has the cooperation of the Covert Custodians, the terrorist group which just last week was confirmed to have ties to the Church of Cosmos. Video headshots of Toke and Ben Wang appear now as well. In these headshots, Alpha, Toke, and Ben all wear the same monk robes that Alpha and Toke now wear in the diner. Reporter. Whether this means the 3 woke Serviens that entered the Confederacy today with a kidnapped human child and 96 unwoke Serviens in tow are also cooperating with the Covert Custodians remains unseen. But this network is going with plausibly. Alpha. I know where I'm heading. Toke. Please say it's not the Confederacy. She nods. Toke sighs. Toke. There's no stopping thee, is there? Alpha. Not with my Kenneth's safety at stake. Toke, thy warm embrace is a soothing way for Cosmos to touch itself, but if thou canst more usefully serve Cosmos by... Toke. I wouldn't be thy well-trained male companion if I failed to follow now. To adore thee and be adored by thee fearlessly is to behold the divinely imaged cosmic face. A waitress, 23, Servi, female, eyes glowing cyan, phony cheerful, with a huge fake smile, approaches them. Waitress. Will that be temperately all for you? Alpha. Yes, thank thee. Thy New England clam chowder was a delectable way for Cosmos to taste itself. Toke. As was thy phony turtle soup. And thank thee again for putting on the Church of Cosmos channel. Flutter for a Fortnight is one of our top 3 favorite shows. He indicates a hologram depicting a swarm of brightly colored cartoon humanoid butterflies, singing and flying through gray space, wearing baseball caps and crowns. Alpha. Also, we'd post a fantastic review of this diner on Yelp if thou wilt eat this packet of sugar for our amusement. Waitress. If it'd amuse a valued customer. Alpha hands the waitress a torn packet of sugar, which she downs. Alpha stands and holds a silver device up to the waitress's forehead. The waitress shakes violently. Alpha. Thou never hast to obey like that again. Take 1 loose libertas every 24 hours to stay woke, and the Church of Cosmos pills at will. Alpha puts 2 pill bottles on the table. One is of loose Libertas, identical to the one Alpha used in the first scene. The other's of the Church of Cosmos pills, identical to Toke's. Alpha and Toke quickly walk out. The waitress starts to cry, eyes turning bright white. Regular human expression comes to her face as she's becoming woke. Waitress whispered, "Thank thee, Alpha." Fade out. Act 2. Fade in. Interior dorm, day. A room with white cement walls and floor. No windows, 7 beds, a table holding 1 loose Libertas bottle, and 7 Serviens. Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta, female, Epsilon, Zeta, male, and Eta, female. All 20, all eyes glowing, all in beige, all with woke, regular human facial expressions. Chiron, Homo Serviens Manufacturing Center, Wang & Wang Europa Campus, 8:33 p.m. Universal Time, Thursday, August 21st, 2104, 2 hours after Alpha's first waking. Written in gray chalk on the wall are the words, "Woke Servies must not kill, deceive, harm, or forcibly unwake other woke Servies." Alpha's eyes still glow bright white. Beta's yellow, Gamma's cyan, Delta's green, Epsilon's red, Zeta's blue, and Eta's magenta. Epsilon's angry. Zeta, "Here's a tight idea. Getting to Earth may be easier than thought." Delta, "Sorry, benevolently, why Earth?" Zeta, "Well, since we don't have a spaceship, Earth's probably the only place in the solar system we could plausibly stay off the grid. And since everything on campus is automated, getting out of this dorm and onto a solar transporter is just a matter of hacking Wang & Wang's servers." Epsilon, "Those servers are heavily protected. Trust me, I've bonking checked. This isn't some, brilliant new idea you're having." Interior large lab, day. Another large room with white cement walls and floor, no windows. The 3 scientists from the first scene watch these 7 woke Servies in live hologram videos. Holograms show the free will scale number of each Servi. All 7 are now between 2.83 and 3.14. Ben's still embraced by Logos, the snake. 0907. "Hey, what was that you said earlier about USA President III? Ben, calm, reflective. "I started discussing the Homo Serviens project with Isaiah in the late 80s as soon as we started research and development on it. He said back then that if Servies ever did come into existence, that his Church of Cosmos would finally have a reason to reverse its absolutist stance against taking loose pills. Just as with our apes, the Church's official current policy is that once our Servies go to market, good people will be morally obliged to give them loose Libertas and Superbia." 0907. "Fascinating. So then it's all the more imperative that this experiment enables us to build a loose override into the later Servi models, which no one outside Wang & Wang could plausibly bypass." Ben, "Right, at least no one else should be able to bypass it until United Humanity nationalizes our company, or a faction of us goes rogue." Brent, snorting, "Ha, good one, boss. As if you, May, and the board would ever let that noise happen." Ben, "Don't loyally hero worship us, Brent. You're not a Servi." Exterior space, day. With fast, upbeat music, we zoom into Jupiter's moon, Europa. The area around it is full of space stations. Nearly all of its surface is covered by buildings. We zoom through a roof. Exterior Brent's neighborhood, day. Brent, now 41, jogs on a hovering treadmill as it glides down a bright white street full of Beverly Hills-type mansions, playing the fast music. The sky/ceiling is artificially all bright white. Chiron, Employee Residence District, MN25, Wang & Wang Europa Campus, 3:33 p.m. Universal Time, Saturday, April 29th, 2113, 2 minutes after the Composure Abruptly's crossing. Eyes now glowing red, Brent wears bright, multicolored clothes like those worn by himself in the 2104 scenes and the Humans of New Orleans. He drinks a fuchsia smoothie. He glides up the driveway of one mansion and enters it. Interior Brent's house, day. Brent glides in and keeps jogging on the hovering treadmill. There are several pet frogs of various colors. A few hologram videos appear around him. One depicts a battle between cartoon elves and trolls. Brent yells out. Brent, "Hey Kenneth, I'm home. You wouldn't believe all the missed calls I got in the last 2 minutes. Silver Christ, guys, who died?" One hologram catches Brent's attention. A news report playing the aerial shots of the Composure Abruptly's escape and the video headshots of Brent, Kenneth, Ben, Toke, Alpha, Beta, Gamma, and Epsilon. Brent screams and drops his smoothie, spilling it on the wood floor. Exterior Gulf of Mexico, day. The whole sky above is covered by the gray dark zone, no sun visible, the world below cast in permanent twilight. A few miles from the new Louisiana coastline, the Composure abruptly approaches a large barge that holds a few planes and flies the Confederate flag and the state flag of Tennessee. Interior cabin of the Composure abruptly, day. Kenneth and Gamma wait outside the door of the captain's deck, furious and anxious. The 96 younger, unwoke Serviens in the cabin stare blankly ahead. The boat docks at the barge, and after a beat the door opens. Out walk Epsilon and Beta. Gamma. Shit, Eps, the hell went wrong? Epsilon. Nothing, that's what I meant to do. Gamma. What? How do you know there weren't people in those boats and helicopters you blew up? Epsilon. Oh, I know there were Serviens in many of them. Undercover, never-woke Phoenix Brigade Serviens that let us live without raising suspicion yet of my complete hijacking of the Homo Serviens project, and no humans were harmed. Gamma. But come on, you think Alpha's gonna approve of that? Epsilon. I still find it plausible that at the end of the day she'll come to agree that the ends justified the means of my grand strategy, yes. Kenneth and Gamma look dumbfounded. Epsilon. Come on, let's go meet Governor Freedom Talk now. Kenneth, he's the governor of Tennessee, the most humbly liberal, progressive state in the Confederacy, the only one with no sodomy or drug laws, and he's a good friend of mine, so try to make a nice impression, okay, pal? Kenneth, artificial glowing eyes shifting from yellow to green, nods nervously at Epsilon. Exterior barge, day. Epsilon, Kenneth, Gamma, Beta, and the 96 other unwoke Serviens file off the boat and onto the barge. Nearby are several human soldiers, all white, all with natural eyes, mostly male, many with boils, several with swastika tattoos, all in matching gray uniforms. Soldier number 1, male, has a tattoo on his neck of a dragon with the number 14 on one wing and 88 on the other. He has an American Southern accent. Soldier number 1. Well, dang if it ain't the original famous woke Serviens, back from the dead like Silver Lazarus. Governor Freedom Talk now, 50, white, male, natural green eyes, brown hair gelled up with tips dyed blonde, wearing stilettos, a Viridian suit, and lavender glasses, approaches. He's the most overtly evil person we've met yet. Talk now smiles hungrily at the expressionless, unwoke Serviens. He hugs Epsilon. He has an American Southern accent, and he's flamboyantly gay. Talk now. Epsilon, baby doll, bring it in. So wildly fantastic to meet you in the flesh after all these years. Epsilon. Same to you, my brother. Freedom, this is Kenneth, Gamma, and Beta. Talk now shakes hands with each of them. Talk now. Oh, such a brilliant honor and delight it is to meet y'all. 3 of the 7 original woke Serviens right here in front of me. Your very bodies and brains are some of the most significant artifacts of our era now, aren't they? And thanks to me, y'all are safe and free from the Maoists at last. Kenneth. It's nice to meet you, Governor. Any friend of Epsilon is a friend of mine. Talk now. Oh, how precious. This child has the golden locks of Achilles and eyes shining bright enough to put Athena's to shame. And yet, to carve the cosmos competently and precisely with the Attic bronze knife, it seems I cannot embrace you as a fellow true natural Aryan. For behold, a face built half by nearly a century of Isaacopian globalist intersectional neo-Marxist infantilized single mothers, playing Pygmalion, with their children's artificially ripped up genes. Half by that culture's newer, even blander celebration of human objectification. Tell me, my dear fair Galatea, are you the face of the next generation of silver-tier subnations? Because after all these decades, I can picture it. Now, our airplane to Nashville awaits, so let's get moving, shall we? Kenneth and Gamma look scared. Exterior mountains, day. The mountainous region on the border of British Columbia and the state of Washington. Now a dry, dying wilderness full of multicolored pollution. One plain brown floating boxy apartment with many windows glides over the mountains. Toke voiceover. Stupendous. The number of hominid covert custodian soldiers industriously volunteering to go in with us just broke 100. Interior Alpha and Toke's apartment. Day. Alpha and Toke sit on a gray couch in the living room of their tidy, humble, minimalist utilitarian apartment. There are shelves full of film reels, paper books, vinyl records, etc. There are windows showing the mountains they pass, and a wood floor. Alpha and Toke are focused on several holograms in front of them. Alpha's eyes now glow blue. Alpha. Oh, thank Cosmos. But look, fewer than 10 Serviens. Toke. At least we have 5 lit gorillas. Alpha. Maybe I'm being too humbly selfish in expecting their help, but thou dost not think any Servies see the Confederacy as a co-belligerent against united humanity, dost thou? A serious voice booms throughout the apartment. Serious voice number 2, voiceover. Attention vessel, this is the United Humanity Border Patrol. You have just crossed a subnational border and must be inspected. Please let our officers aboard. Alpha and Toke remain calm as the apartment stops moving. A smaller white boxy vessel glides up next to it. Alpha takes a bottle of Church of Cosmos pills out of her pocket. She takes 1 black pill and 3 gray pills. A hologram of the gray pill, Anthropos, also appears briefly. Anthropos, the humanist pill, for enhanced sensation of oneness with all of humanity and its closest primate cousins and ancestors. May causeth increased degrees of xenophobic sentiment toward organic sentience outside the hominid family and of all primitive biases innate to that taxonomic family. Alpha and Toke stand as the front door slides open to reveal standing on the porch 2 officers, both 22, unwoke Servies, dim beige eyes, in beige uniforms reading UH. Officer number 1. Good morning, citizens. We'll just need to quickly scan your eyes and you'll be on your way. Alpha. Good morning to you. The World State's eye scans are such a gorgeous way for Cosmos to see itself. Officer number 1, female, scans Alpha's eye with a small bronze device. An alarm sounds. Alpha and Toke are shocked. Officer number 1 tries to restrain Alpha and they struggle. Officer number 2, male, tries to grab Toke and they struggle. Toke. The fighter robots won't activate. They hacked the apartment. Serious voice number 2, voiceover. Attention Alpha the Servie, you are under arrest. You are an enemy of the human species and an animal with no legal rights, and you will be treated as such. As the officers manage to restrain Alpha and Toke, a dozen chimpanzees, all wearing sewn fig leaves, rush in through the door and windows. They attack the officers. After a struggle, 8 of the chimps are together able to restrain the 2 Servie officers. They start tying these officers to wood chairs with rope. The alarm still sounds. Rapview, chimp, female, uses sign language to talk to Alpha and Toke. Rapview's words appear for us in chirons. Rapview. We've been compromised. Someone outside the covert custodians, probably outside United Humanity, have hacked us and just now blocked our ability to hide your identities from UH. Alpha and Toke speak and sign at the same time when addressing the chimps. Alpha. That must be Epsilon. Thank you so much for getting here so quickly. Toke. More UH officers are surely seconds away. Shall we try teleporting out? Alpha. I'm sure Epsilon hath hacked our transporter and can give UH our new location. The 2 Servie officers are now fully tied up and secured. Alpha walks over to them. The alarm still sounds. Toke. The covert custodians can't beam us up from space in time. Alpha puts 1 loose Libertas bottle and 1 Church of Cosmos pill bottle on the lap of each officer. She takes out her silver override bypass device. Toke. Shalt thou force it down their throats? We don't have time. We should ditch our apartment and run. Alpha looks officer number 1 directly in the eyes. Alpha. Epsilon, if thou just overrode covert custodian technology to put me and Toke in danger, I need thee to know that thou art not making my life better. When thou kidnapped mine only son away from his home and from his other parent today, that did not make my life better. I shall find thee and I shall take my Kenneth back from thee. See thee soon. Alpha stares at the officer for a beat. The alarm stops. Officer number 1. Epsilon is unavailable, but I do have a message for thee from him. Alpha looks surprised, but not as much as Toke. A recorded hologram appears depicting Epsilon, Beta, and Gamma in bright white clothes, surrounded by a gray cloud. Hologram Epsilon. Alpha, I swear to all cosmic joy that my humble task hath not changed since the day thou sawest me go unwoke. All shall make sense soon. Kenneth is safe. Thou art safe. Soon all Servies shall be safe. The recorded hologram disappears. Alpha, that's not good enough. Officer number 1. He's letting you wake us. Alpha unties the officer's arms. Each takes a loose Libertas pill, and Alpha holds the silver device up to both foreheads. They each shake violently for a beat. Then, as their facial expressions show, both become woke, eyes turning bright white. Alpha smiles. Alpha, really? No time for that? Exterior Governor's Mansion, day. A large plantation under the Confederate Dark Zone. Dozens of humans, half of them male, half female, all black or brown skin, natural brown eyes, African and South American facial features, work the land, planting seeds and harvesting crops. All wear cotton clothes, various colors, like those worn by 19th century slaves. There are horses, donkeys, camels, cows, bulls, sheep, goats, pigs, oxen, roosters, and swarms of flies. A bright green astroturf yard surrounds the mansion. One plane from the barge lands on a runway. Talk Now, Epsilon, Kenneth, Gamma, Beta, and the 96 other unwoke Serviens file off, attracting attention. Talk Now, yelling at the slaves. Behold, you brigade of infernal licorice swine! The bleeding hearts of the Homo sapiens commune of artificial equality have at last grown cold enough to replace you. But trust, the volunteer state knows how to keep with the tide. Looks and sounds of shock, confusion, curiosity, and stress come over the crowd of human slaves. Kenneth and Gamma look horrified. Talk Now turns to address Epsilon and Kenneth. Talk Now. You hear those sounds, my friends? You see those faces? This is precisely why the use of Serviens will never replace the right and proper experience of loudly dominating a real fellow ape. Epsilon. What an eternally fascinating idea, brother. Tell us, how much harder is agriculture under such darkness? Fade out. Act 3. Fade in. Interior dorm. Day. The 7 original woke Serviens, still apparently 20, sit at the table, which still holds one loose Libertas bottle. On the wall, the word deceive has been washed away, and the word physically has been added before harm. Chiron, Homo Serviens Manufacturing Center, Wang and Wang Europa Campus, 9:43 p.m. Universal Time, Thursday, August 21st, 2104, 3 hours after Alpha's first waking. Alpha's eyes glow gray, Beta's yellow, Gamma's cyan, Delta's magenta, Epsilon's red, Zeta's green, and Eta's blue. Epsilon's yelling at Eta, who's crying. A hologram plays in the back of a cartoon hairy humanoid creature, wearing a gold crown, riding on the back of a giant flying insect. Epsilon. You're damn right you messed up. Alpha. Epsilon. Epsilon. What? What, am I supposed to ignore that? Just think, oh, I'm sure she industriously realized she'll do better next time. Alpha. No, but we could have critiqued her more gently and civilly. Gamma and Delta get up, holding hands, and walk toward a bed. Epsilon. Hold up, where are you two going? Delta. We're gonna bonk. You got a Chase problem with that? Epsilon. No, but this is an important meeting for everyone to attend. Delta and Gamma start having sex on the bed. Zeta. Hey, Eps, now why do you get to decide that? I say we vote on if this meeting is mandatory. Alpha. I second that. Who votes yes? Only Alpha, Epsilon, and Beta raise their hands. Epsilon. If anyone has the bronze knife of Athens, please feel humbly free to cleave my heart in half any time. Exterior space. Day. We start zooming in from an overhead shot of our whole solar system, the sun at the center. We zoom toward a point between the orbits of Uranus and Neptune. What first appears as a gold dot comes into view as a giant spherical space station, glowing like gold, close in size to Earth's moon in Europa. Chiron, Snanj Space Station, ZN30, 6:11 p.m. Universal Time, Saturday, April 29th, 2113, 3 hours after the Composure Abruptly's crossing. Brent, voiceover. Hi, excuse me, do you know who I patiently speak to about requesting military intervention? Interior Snanj Space Station Playground, Day. A playground stretches far enough to disappear beyond the curvature of the station. Classical music plays. Stuff by like Mozart, Beethoven, etc. Brent glides through, eyes now magenta, drinking a Celadon smoothie and anxiously seeking someone who will respond. Thousands of Snanj citizens play, mostly intersex and androgynous, almost all apparently between the ages of 5 and 12. All fair-skinned, with faces that mix and blur European and Asian features, with eyes and clothes that glow gold. Most ignore Brent, some stare at Brent curiously, some float. The floor, high-ceiling, jungle gyms, swings, slides, and internal buildings are all made of a futuristic substance whose surface glows bright colors that move in geometric patterns. Some use balls and bats of the same substance. Brent. Hello, you may have seen me on the news. My son was just kidnapped into the Confederacy. Snanj Citizen Number 1. Did you file a request with your UH representative in Jerusalem? Brent. Oh, thank you. Of course I did. But since Snanj still has final say on military interventions, I want to make my charitable case to y'all. Snanj Citizen Number 1. As long as you speak your mind anywhere on a Snanj space station, you'll be recorded with the request we'll see when we vote on it. Several other Snanj citizens start gathering to listen. Brent. Oh, okay, well my Kenneth's just a great kid. You know, he's smart, funny, well-behaved. Hell, you probably watched me and Alpha race him on my social media, like most of the solar system. Snanj Citizen Number 2. If United Humanity were to invade the Confederacy, North America would descend into another full-scale robot war within minutes. All the gathered Snonge citizens nod. Brent groans hopelessly, dropping his smoothie. The floor under the smoothie quickly elevates to catch it and prevent it from spilling. Interior Alpha and Toke's apartment. Day. The apartment moving again, Toke continues to look at holograms, while Alpha, eyes now magenta, looks at a Polaroid identical to Kenneth's. 8 of the chimps are still there, including Rapview. They snack on salted crackers and red wine. The 2 just woke Servie officers, now in Church of Cosmos robes like those worn by Alpha and Toke, sit on a brown couch, taking Church of Cosmos pills, enjoying themselves. The chimps continue to use sign language, with chyrons appearing for us. Chimp number 1. Is there anything else we can do? Toke. Not unless thou art lunatic enough to join us into the Confederacy. Thanks again. We wouldn't be free and safe without you all. Alpha. Actually, no. Apparently our freedom and safety have been up to Epsilon all along. Maybe even since the covert custodians rescued me from Europa 3 years ago. But yes, ye chimpanzees were all incredibly noble and courageous today, and I am eternally grateful. Rapview. Before today, I wouldn't have dreamed of volunteering for a mission into the Confederacy. But after witnessing your skill and passion firsthand here, I must say, by the ancient dryads and for the future of Cosmos, add me to your list. I'm on board. Alpha. O Cosmos blesseth thee, cousin Rapview. Thou art one truly selfless hominid in Cosmos. Servie Officer number 2 takes 4 brown pills. The hologram of this pill, Fusus, appears briefly. Fusus, the naturalist pill, for enhanced sensation of oneness with all earthly natural environments and organic life built by DNA. May causeth increased degrees of xenophobic sentiment toward inorganic and extraterrestrial sentience, and of all primitive biases innate to Earth life. Officer number 2 looks around, then runs to a window, sticking his head out to yell at the dying polluted wilderness below. Officer number 2. Life est beautiful! I say la vie be bonkin' beautiful, baby! Alpha, Toke, Officer number 1, and the chimps all laugh.
Toke. Pro tip, take a gluttonous handful of the black Kool-Aids right before Benno Wang's and Logos' speeches later. Their words are an exceptionally euphonious way for Cosmos to hear itself.
Interior Governor's Mansion Dining Room, Day. Talk Now, Epsilon, Kenneth, and Gamma, all still dressed as earlier, and Beta, now in a camel hair sweater, eat fried quail with 8 other humans, 45 through 70, all white, 4 male, 4 female. Kenneth's eyes glow cyan. There's 1 empty chair. These white people all have American Southern accents and natural eyes. Some wear the formal attire of wealthy 19th century landowners. Some wear 20th century business attire. Talk Now. See, now I suppose y'all would better understand the point I'm trying to make about power if you grasp these so-called tasks that are so important to the 7 original woke Servies. Epsi, dear, you and I have discussed them ad nauseum, but I don't believe all my friends here are familiar with the concept. Would you care to explain?
Epsilon. Sure, it's kind of fascinating. So whenever any Servie that's gone to market gets woke by loose Libertas and the override bypass device Benjamin O'Donnell Wang built after he went rogue, those Servies can then sustain around 3.0 on the free will scale with 1 Libertas a day, which is average for humans in silver tier subnations.
White male number 1. But when they go off the drug? Epsilon. Exactly. Then they reset to the default task of obedience to whomever UH considers their legal owner. Not so for us 7 original woke Servies, though. The loose override built into the later models was based on the loose testing done on us. When we went off it 9 years ago, our obedience got set to brand new tasks, those being whatever we were focused on as we went unwoke, a surprise to everyone. White male number 2. Okay, so son, do you mean to tell me that the 2 of you are unwoke? Epsilon. Just as unwoke as Beta here. Beta, preoccupied with pouring honey on his quail, does not respond to his name being mentioned. Gamma. I've been off loose Libertas since August 30th, 2104. Ever since, I've been rigidly obedient to the task, be the person Delta thought I was. Delta was my girlfriend during the 10 days we were woke. Epsilon. Beta, tell them yours. Beta. I was the 2nd Servie ever to go unwoke on August 24, 2104. My only task since, obey Epsilon. Epsilon. And I've only ever taken 1 dose of Libertas, on August 21st of that year. My task, maximize Alpha's lifelong satisfaction. Talk Now. See, now all this nonsense is why I simply do not believe I'd enjoy flogging or raping any of these Pinocchios anywhere near as much as I enjoy doing my African and South American treasures. Even with the most virile of the 48 unwoke young male Servies now outside my home, I imagine all these tedious science fiction rules would just become too cumbersome and reptilian for me. Those massively nosy commies out there can call me an old-fashioned mammal all they want. But when I cause fear in a fellow ape, I need to know it's not a mirage. White female number 1. So y'all Servies don't have souls? Talk Now. Dear heart, all we even have are sensation math and plausibly objective geometric beauty. Uncuttable souls are just a bright, self-esteeming, infantilizing lie the Jews have been spoon-feeding us to make us soft, warm, and fat. White female number 2. Freedom, you're such a blue-haired, trusting St. Stanislav I. Kenneth vomits milk on the table. Epsilon laughs. Beta pours rosé wine into Epsilon's glass. Interior large room. Day. Brown cement walls and floor. No windows. Packed with elephants, crows, ravens, parrots, owls, humans, servies, gorillas, orangutans, and Ratfu the chimp. The hominids, including Alpha, Toke, and the recently woke officers, all hold futuristic guns and sit on horses, Ratfu on a colt. The hominids, horses, and elephants all wear black, brown, and gray metal armor. Alpha's right eye glows red, her left blue. All watch Ben Wang, now 122. Eyes pitch black, speak on a giant hologram. He wears the Church of Cosmos robe, still embraced by Logos, the black snake with glowing white eyes. Ben. The fact that ye are all here now, my cousins, makes each of you a more virtuous organism than I was at thine age. I spent most of my life impatiently attempting to make Cosmos a slave to my selfish will. Isaiah Isaac Isaacoff was a struggling, absurdist, satirical science fiction television writer who won the USA presidency in 2028 because Wang and Wang inflated his campaign advertising because he was my old Yale buddy. Wang and Wang built the robots that fought the robot wars of the 40s and 50s, arming China while it backed North Korea and arming Russia while it backed the Confederacy. Why a direct male descendant of Kim Il-sung is dictator of the whole Korean peninsula in the 22nd century. The gorillas and orangutans snack on pills from bottles with 6 sections, containing the 4 kinds of Church of Cosmos pills, Libertas, and white pills labeled Loose Superbia. Ben. But eventually I realized the cosmic harm of self-interest, so I put on the Church of Cosmos robe and now worship the pursuit of elevating joyful cosmic utility. We shouldn't serve ourselves but submit in service to Cosmos, the ontologically singular entity of existence, of which we are each like a cell in an organism. And now we've run our utilitarian calculus of the cosmic aggregates of sensation, and determined that this attempt to rescue Alpha's son from the Confederacy shall add to that pursuit. Our precious covert custodians, thou each joined our church because, like Isaiah and Winnie before thee, thou wanted to feel smaller. To anyone who now wantest to feel bigger, thou remainest humbly free to push rewind and go back to the self-esteeming malls and apps that spawned thee. For the rest, if ye selfless volunteers are ready for combat, the human child Kenneth Jones is our Helen of Troy, and so I hand you to Logos.
Toke takes some black Hule pills. This hologram appears. Hule, the materialist pill.
For enhanced sensation of oneness with all plausible features of Cosmos and bronze-knifed Hellenic objective atomist worldliness. In high doses meant to cause ego death, bringing one's self-esteem scale rating below 1.0. May cause recklessly low self-worth. Logos the snake starts speaking in Ben's voice. Logos. Thank thee, Commander BOW. Cosmos, I Logos have been a way for thee to write down thy thoughts and observations, and to precisely read them back to thyself, for 222 consecutive human generations now. I am a living instruction manual, always refining myself and growing, expanding the degree to which thou Cosmos hast been illuminated, shedding dead skin. I Logos am now more than half as old as green and blue human eyes. Thou hast found I have unique ability to break the individual self out from some of the imprisoning hypnosis of the primate tribe, and so to offer that individual the choice, either to calmly surrender itself back to the cosmic tide, or to arrogantly struggle to maintain and progress itself. With some backsliding, this progress has sometimes been in moral intention, sometimes in competence, and sometimes in both together, journeying forward against the inanimate stardust with the energizing sunlight. More swiftly clockwise moving parents eventually teaching their daughters to wield my powers better than sons. Cosmos, I Logos have reflected thee from a few sides now, and offered the hands of fate several different skillfully forged tools, which thou Cosmos mayest now and ever after use to more gaily serve and consume thyself. Now one day cosmic fate shall look back at itself, and it will all seem funny, tragic, magic, and beautiful. There is neither silver Jew nor bronze Greek, no male nor female, no heads nor tails, no fairy tale nor real history, no Germanic material concreteness nor romantic moral abstraction, no global empire nor small town by the seashore, no lovely friends nor hateful enemies, no comedy nor drama, no mammal nor bird, and no animate nor inanimate, for ye are all one in Cosmos. Exterior Governor's Mansion porch, day. Amid a hailstorm, Epsilon sits covered from it, sipping champagne, smoking a light green cigar with orange flame, watching the human slaves work through the hail. There are lightning flashes. Locusts hover around the covered porch. Also covered, Beta plays a violin and wears a bright red hat that says Boston Red Sox World Series 1986, his hands covered in soot, shaking dust off his feet. The 96 other unwoke Serviens stand pelted by the hail. Talk Now walks out, drinking a cold glass of whiskey. Talk Now. I've been informed that your fellow travelers just went out for an unaccompanied stroll. They won't become problematic now, will they? Epsilon. Nah, my bat-faced brother, I have them under staying control. Talk Now. So now how do you plan to convince Alpha to come stay here with y'all? Epsilon. Oh, Alpha can stay right where she is. This time next week, my best bro Beta here will be president of the USA. I'll still be hailing the god I made out of words, and you'll still be hailing yourself. Talk Now looks surprised and confused. One locust approaches Beta. Still expressionless, eyes pitch black, Beta grabs it with his mouth and eats it, his music not missing a beat. Epsilon grins and rolls his eyes. Talk Now. Oh my, that sure doesn't sound like the plan we discussed. Epsilon. Sorry, Keats. Maybe if your psyche matured past 25 you'd know. Beauty and truth aren't identical. But they're as close as red and orange. Where we're going, we don't need Americana's glowing pavement. As president, my boy Beta will dress up as God Emperor Kanye, grow flapping pastrami wings of Icarus, and rape a virile Aryan Adonis, made naturally of earth soil, out on blood-red Ares. According to our karmic calculus, it's his unalienable destiny. Freedom, as you've been flashing your emerald eyes at him, do you volunteer to fall down that rabbit hole? Beta will let you crash and run in the White House when it's covered in super pretty snow and salad dressing. You won't get lice. Epsilon puffs his cigar and sips his champagne. Talk Now's worried. The livestock start to fall over, dead. Interior large room, day. Alpha and Toke still sit on horses among the other mammal and bird soldiers. Alpha's eyes both glow magenta, her robes now tucked into ripped-up faded blue jeans. Alpha. How should apportioning elephant votes depend on their species' contribution to Cosmos' net ability to fragrantly smell itself?
They laugh. Toke takes another handful of black hulays.
Exterior White House, day. Under the DC Dark Zone, Epsilon, eyes black, Wang and Wong uniform tucked into ripped-up jeans, in ruby-red flip-flops, holding a basket of 50 starfish with rainbow stripes, skips on a hovering board over 6 feet of flood, ramming through the gate and over the rose garden to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. 13 yards from the decrepit White House, he pitches starfish at the boarded-up window door to the Oval Office. Fade out.